Jinnah wanted to be the sole arbiter of the Muslim destiny in South Asia, or at least in the Indian subcontinent. This 370 was not demanded by the Kashmiris. I hope you know it. It was only a khichdi between the leader of Kashmir and leader of India.
Hello and welcome to Nation Talks. I am Preeti Prakash. Let's start with Jammu and Kashmir this time. The abrogation of Article 370 and 35A of the Constitution of India for Jammu and Kashmir by the government, the BJP government, on the August 2019, marked a paradigm shift in the identity of the erstwhile state. To talk about this, the history of Jammu Kashmir, and what is the future ahead for the Union Territory, I have with me Major General Anuj Mathur, who's a Kashmir expert, and so much so that Kashmir is like the back of his hand. He was commissioned into the Jammu Kashmir Rifles Regiment and commanded his unit in the Kashmir Valley during Operation Parakram. A motivational speaker, he is also actively involved in spreading awareness concerning national security, Kashmir and China. Welcome, Major General Anuj Mathur.
Thank you very much. It's been very kind.
I'll start by asking, Kashmir is a subject that is keenly observed by not just the domestic audience, but the international community as well. Walk us through a brief history of Jammu and Kashmir since independence till the turn of the century.
Unless you know what Kashmir was 5,000 years ago, it is not going to be very easy to understand what is happening today. More than 5,000 years ago, this Kashmir existed in its form. From the 4th century till the 14th century, various dynasties of Hindu kings ruled that Kashmir. I would like to make a mention only of one, and that was Karakutta dynasty. And the greatest ever king, Lalitaditya, was a part of that Karakutta dynasty. Not many are aware of Lalitaditya, also known as Alexander of India. His empire was more than the combined empires of Akbar and Ashok, probably. That was the time when Rashtrakoot were ruling Maharashtra and Gujarat. He was the greatest ever king, and his capital was Kashmir. Second thing was princely states. So they said, what will you do? He says, what we do is we'll have a referendum. Jinnah was a very sharp fellow. Basically, a high-end advocate and very sharp guy. So he said, if you have a referendum, wherever there is a majority of Hindu, most places Hindus were in majority. Things will go. He says, no. He asked a counter question to the British. He says, who is sovereign in Britain? He says, obviously the crown. The crown decides what will go to Pakistan, what will go to India. He said, yes. Then here also you let the Maharajas and Nawabs decide which side they want to. He had read it well. He knew there are large number of places which have Hindu majority but Muslims rulers. The only exception to that rule was Kashmir, which had Muslim majority, and this Muslim majority also, if you recollect what I have said in the history, is 100% converted. But why he took a chance? Because of two reasons. One reason was that this was an area which was physically contiguous to Pakistan. So he thought that he will be able to handle it that way. And whereas Hyderabad was away, Junagadh was away, Jodhpur was away, so many, Bhopal was away. So he was saying, wo to Nawabon ki wajah se aa jayega, isko hum waise le lenge. That was his idea. Most of the routes to Kashmir, land routes to Kashmir, went through Pakistan. If you were to go to Srinagar, you went via Muzaffarabad. The railway line also went to Jammu via Sialkot. So he knew that he can choke and starve Kashmir Valley logistically from the areas which are coming to him. So what he thought, I will choke them, and then through the land route, I will be able to get them. That was the plan. That is why he said. There were two more reasons which we must understand. One, Jawaharlal Nehru and Maharaja Hari Singh were daggers drawn to say in the sweetest language. Maharaja Jawaharlal Nehru and Sheikh Abdullah were,
Friends.
or
Were friends.
I will not call them friends, but then
They were close.
had a. So when Jinnah visited Kashmir, Sheikh Abdullah showed his, I will not call them tantrums, his eyes. Jinnah wanted to be the sole arbiter of the Muslim destiny in South Asia, or at least in the Indian subcontinent. He did not want anybody who will be, So Jinnah and Sheikh Abdullah, they were not very comfortable with each other. That is how Sheikh gave his support to a possible accession to the Union of India. And that is how, on the 26th of October 1947, the instrument of accession was signed. One thing that you must remember, that the instrument of accession, that which was signed by Maharaja Hari Singh, was exactly the same verbatim what was signed by all other principalities. And then later on, they all accepted the Constitution of India when it was implemented. When the Constitution of India was in its final stages, you had representation in the drafting committee from all states, all those who were either part of that British India, which was a part of India now, and all princely states which had opted for India. Bhim Rao Ambedkar decided to boycott that meeting where this 370 was included. Salute to that gentleman. He walked out. This Article 370 has been included in the Constitution of India in the absence of the chairman of the drafting committee. The Congress Birthing Committee also unanimously rejected it. But the fact of the matter is, it got included. Then Constitution came into being, and 1950 January 26, it was implemented, and we all celebrate 26 January. End result was that Kashmir was given an opportunity to make their own constitution. So they had their own drafting committee. They decided 75 members, 73 were unopposed. And now this constitution, and a normal human thing would be that India has given a constitution in 1950. 6 years later, you're giving a constitution. Obviously, it should be a constitution better than the 1950 constitution. But this constitution of Kashmir does not talk of fundamental rights. Then when Sheikh passed away, his son Farooq Abdullah came. Now comes the turning point. The elections of 1987, which were rigged to bring the INC and National Conference combined into power. That was the election in which everybody had taken part, including Syed Salahuddin, who's the chief of Hizbul Mujahideen in Pak-occupied Kashmir. And they were rigged very badly. Farooq Abdullah became the chief minister, but things were very, very bad. In the year 1990, January 19th to be precise, 1990, so much of atrocities were committed on the minority Hindus. The 97% or 95% majority of Muslims in Kashmir was actually minority, and they were getting all the benefits of minorities. And a single-digit percentage of Kashmiri Hindus was a majority. Because they said everything else is Constitution of Kashmir. This clause we will take it from Constitution of India, Government of India, that majority is Hindu and minority is Muslim. Marriage of convenience. This all happened. All is happening because of that smart act, Article 370. And mind you, this 35A was not even, 35A should have been between 35 and 36. It is not there. It has been put into an annexure. Hidden. A lot of scholars of the Constitution of India are not aware 35A exists. Because it is not there, you can't see it where it should be. Now the same lot puts it up to the Human Rights Commission of the country. Justice Venkat Chalaya was the boss of that Human Rights Commission. The commission writes to Government of India, same government, same Prime Minister, same cabinet. They write to the Government of India. And the reply comes from there that the exodus of the Kashmiri Pandits was self-induced. From 2014, when you look at the Kashmir, there has been a gradual shift in the Kashmir policy. And the basic difference which started coming was that the security forces were given a better hand to handle things in Kashmir. So things were happening. There was no misuse of that particular aspect, but the fact of the matter was that things started changing. I will not say improving, changing post 2014. Mind you, probably to my mind, again, my personal view, the government was preparing, and it prepared for 5 years, shaping the battlefield. They shaped the battlefield of Kashmir to bring in the situation conducive where they can do away with the worst thing which could have happened to the government, to the Indian nation. So they were prepared. So a lot of things changed. Ideas changed. Even the government in J&K with the PDP, the BJP made a government in J&K. I hope you're aware. In this one,
Yes.
so things started changing. And on 5th August 2019, suddenly they found the right time, and then they abrogated the Article 370. And there were a lot of issues. But I can tell you one thing, that every Indian wanted that Article 370 abrogated. So there was no opposition to that. And I'm in only partial agreement with what you said, that a lot of leaders did not like it. A lot of
No,
people liked it.
I meant the Kashmiri leaders.
No, Kashmir, the same thing I'm telling you. Kashmir is not the valley alone. Our mindset is only that Kashmir means Kashmir Valley. No,
the entire
Kashmir means
Ladakh,
the Jammu, the Ladakh, and the valley. Valley is the smallest in terms of area.
Yeah.
Probably smaller than many Jammu in terms of population also, but it's a question of there's a question mark on that. But the point is, the people of Ladakh welcomed it, people of Jammu welcomed it, and a section in Kashmir also welcomed it. See the situation. 5th August it takes place, until 4th of April nothing happens in Kashmir.
That had a reason, because the leaders were house arrested and put.
The
there was clampdown on the internet.
It doesn't matter. There's a clampdown on internet, but there was no clampdown on the trigger of the gun. There was no clampdown on gunpowder.
But there was the fear of arrest and jail and everything.
No, how many? That fear of arrest has always existed. The fear never came up immediately. The fear existed always. Arrests were always earlier also there. Whenever you spoke to any other gentleman who was not keen on knowing the Kashmir affairs, you ask him what is 370? कि भाई कोई भी हिंदुस्तानी जाकर के कश्मीर में जमीन नहीं खरीदा. It is much more than जमीन. It's much more than जमीन. It gives them a separate constitution. It gives them every square inch of the territory called India, the government of India, the constitution of India is Sarvabhaum.
So do you think now, after all these changes, Kashmir is going to go the peaceful way or the development way, or
only one way, and that we need to understand. What has happened on 5th August 2019 is de jure change of that. Now you have to do it de facto on ground. You have to create conditions for the Kashmiri Pandits, Sardars to get back. So the people on the periphery were never anti-India. So get them into mainstream. You have a proper plan, a very good plan to get them back into the fold of the country. And they will come to India only if India goes there. It's as simple as that. So we need to make attempts to take India there. We need to create conditions for India to be flourishing there, and things will happen.
I'm sure India will surely go there. It has already started going,
yes,
and it will go. As let's start with tourism, and then industries, and then infrastructure and everything.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Major General Anuj Mathur, for talking to me. And if you like the video, viewers, don't forget sharing, commenting, and then pressing on the bell icon. And we'll surely bring you more informative videos next time. And please do comment and do let us know if you are interested in any other subject. We'll surely bring a lot of information to you on that, on those subjects. Thank you for watching, and stay safe and stay happy. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Jai Hind.